Explain that story a little bit. We were cruising along on the interstate, and you know, hitchhiking wasn't allowed. But we're riding along on the motorcycle, and these two cars closed in on us, and they were just inches from his handlebars on both sides. A couple of idiots. And it was really, if one of them would have made one false move, we would have been doing somersaults. And it was scary. It wasn't his driving. It wasn't. I appreciated it very much. He only had to go back to court
on the
one
back
evening.
of a motorcycle.
Hey, same thing happened to me on the back of a motorcycle going down the interstate, and they tried to run us off the road. I didn't hitchhike though, I kept going. just a thought.
Too late now. That was 1961, 60 years ago.
Wow.
Yep.
Before I had any brains.
So I'm going to share a letter that I wrote my dad for today in honor of your 80th birthday, Dad. Some of my favorite things that I do now I learned from my dad. I love to camp and hike and be outdoors. We always did these long cross-country trips together with either a tent, a camper, and later a fifth wheel. We would visit amazing national and state parks to camp and sightsee some of the grandest wonders of nature in the U.S., like Yellowstone and Old Faithful, and many other places that I can't remember, but my dad would be able to tell you every single one, and the year we went there. We climbed rocks and saw beautiful forests and mountains, and each day at the campsite, we kids got the better deal. While Mom and Dad would set everything up after a day of driving and get dinner started, we got to run around and hop over creeks and explore. Dad enjoyed sharing these outdoor things with us, and I definitely inherited his love of the outdoors. I've also always loved playing sports, and I go all in when I do that, and that's from Dad as well. I so enjoyed, actually my mom's athletic too, but Dad was really into sports and fun activities. I so enjoyed at our family reunions, even up until the present day, with my aunts and uncles, when we played games and sports together, throwing horseshoes, playing cards, sometimes water skiing and volleyball. We were an active family on my dad's side, and that was terrific. It was a chance to show off for our aunts and uncles and to get to play together. And Dad encouraged me to get into sports from a young age. Dad was a basketball big shot as a younger man, and he also refereed when I was growing up, being a ref for the adult teams and stuff, as my sister shared. And I took up basketball as well, following his footsteps. We also played tennis as a family, and I remember some very competitive games with my dad, where I was absolutely heartbroken that I could not beat him. I remember tears, actually. My dad was always good at things. He could build things, fix things, create things. He made a business for a while building picnic tables, as you heard. He remodeled houses that we lived in, doing the most of the work himself. He also earned money for a long time renting houses out that he owned, and he did all the upkeep by himself. He raised animals and fruits and vegetables on our little piece of property when I was younger. I don't think there is much that intimidates my dad. He also went back to school and got his associate's degree. Dad was very early on into computers and made it his life's career. I think that is so impressive for a kid who came from a small town in Colorado. Dad went places with his work, traveled to Europe, and worked in Germany for over a decade. I am very proud of my dad for his career, his curiosity and aptitude with so many things. Dad also found it in himself over the last 15 years to really take up painting and made some amazing pieces that I would have never guessed were inside of him. Dad also was the driving force behind us becoming a gospel group, as you heard. It was a great experience for us, and I am so grateful for that time that we had together to sing as a family. Making music with one's family is a really special thing. I don't want to sound like everything was a rosy life because it wasn't. My dad and I have had our difficult times, and I wish sometimes that I lived closer and that we were closer. And my dad has had a lot of rough times in his life too that he doesn't really talk about. But I want to say, Dad, that I love you. I'm proud of you. Proud of you, daughter. I wish you many more years in your marriage with Diane and just a really fulfilling time of your life now. Love you.
So I'm going to do a little different. Let's talk a little bit about what was going on in 1941. So I did a little research, and most of the things going on that year that they talk about were World War II related, right? Germany invaded the USSR and made it all the way to Moscow. Winston Churchill begged the United States to help and send arms to help the British defeat Germany and their allies. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941. Many of the World War II events that we've heard about our whole lives, right, happened in 1941. But also in that year, the 13th Academy Awards were presented by Bob Hope in Los Angeles, and John Ford won Best Director for Grapes of Wrath. I didn't even know that was anything but that. Mount Rushmore was completed on October 31st of that year, Dad, when you were 9 days old. And what an amazing piece of history that is to all of us today. NBC Television began their first commercial operation on WNBT. It was either in New York or Philadelphia, I'm not sure, but it was on Channel 1. So for these younger people here, there was a time when there was only one channel. I made it to 3 channels by the time we were kids, and we were Dad's remote control. The first commercial was aired that day for Bulova watches during a baseball game between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. Also that year, and I'm sorry to say this, Dad, the New York Yankees defeated your Brooklyn Dodgers 4-1 to win the 9th World Series title. But for us, most importantly that year, on October 22nd, James Henry Dodson was born in Hobart, Oklahoma, to Berta May and Clem Alvin Dodson. Hobart, by the way, can still be very hot in October. And I bet it was hot that day. Dad joined a big family with 8 brothers and sisters, and 2 more still to come, one of which is Kenneth back there. And his twin Marie. I think that's right? There was only 2 more, or yeah, well, the 2 of you still came out before, right? Yeah, Holly and they were a hardworking family that have stayed close their entire lives, and eventually they moved to Colorado, settling in Los Angeles. As so many young men did, Dad joined the Army and spent 4 years in the Army, and eventually spent the rest of his government services career with the Department of Defense. And after that, he had a very successful real estate career right here in the Springs. Dad also retired at one point from another pastime, honey-do lists. My wife Karen used to have them ready for Dad every time he visited. And he always graciously sat about to take care of all of those tasks. And I really appreciate it.
You said he retired from the honey-do list? I think he re-enlisted.
That's good.
Diane said, no, he didn't. Of course, in exchange from Karen, you got some really good Texas home cooking. And we've always loved having you with us, Dad, for the more than 6 months that you lived with us. However, there was one day that I failed to mention in there, a day that changed Dad's life forever. January 29th, 1966. That was my birthday. We moved to Michigan when I was 5, and then to Germany after that, and Dad eventually found his way back here to his beloved Colorado. Our youngest son, Hayden, was born on the same day as Dad, October 22nd. And it was so exciting to have him join us and share the same birthday with Dad for 25 years now. We have lots of great memories of them sharing their birthdays together, and I would say probably 22 out of 25 we've celebrated their birthdays together. And by the way, just to help, when I think about how fast time flies, when Hayden was born 25 years ago, I'm 55 now. Dad was 55 when Hayden was born.
Wow. That's incredible.
But Dad has been here in Colorado ever since and has impacted so many people and made so many great friends like all of you. He also met Diane, and we're so happy that Dad and Diane are together and are going to make many more new memories with their family and friends in their mother home. Dad is a very loyal friend. He has such high integrity, and when I think about Dad, I think about what a great patriotic American he really is. So turning 80 is an incredible accomplishment, Dad. We're all proud of you, and we're all looking forward to many more years and making many more memories together. So I'd like to raise a glass to toast to Dad and his 80th birthday. Here's to you, Hank the Tank.
Cheers.
And how about one more big round of applause for 80-year-old Hank. Diane, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh my goodness.
Between the three of you and Kenneth, you've all said all the things that I was going to say. I won't repeat, but I just want to thank all of you so much for coming and helping us celebrate his birthday. We just love you all, and we appreciate all of you, and you've made it a very special time for him. I would like for him to share one story about the Dodson gang. Yeah, he has lots of stories, but he can tell it much better than I can. There was never a dull moment in that house when he was growing up. So, would you like to share?
Well, I would let Kenneth tell it, but he never tells the truth. Well, I'm trying to think. Our older brother Ray must have been about 8 or 9. I was probably 7. No, maybe I was 8 and Kenneth was 7. We had been down on the river from Los Animas. The Arkansas River flows nearby, and went back home, and as we crossed this field there was a tractor sitting there, and we let the air out of the tires. And, farm tractors for weight purposes have a liquid, I won't get into the chemical makeup, in the back tires for weight. And so we let that out, and that has to be pumped back in. And the next day, the sheriff came to visit our house. So we had to put our heads together really quick and put together a plan. Because we had to run away. I'm not sure if it was that day or the next day, but we did. We took off. I'll never forget, Burl is sitting back there, my high school friend, grade school. His uncle took a day. He took a day off to help look for us, because my parents were very worried. They had no idea where we went. We went east on First Street to the railroad track. Then we turned back north to the AV Bridge, which was Arkansas Valley, where it had crossed over the Arkansas River, and it was hardly ever used, but it was still, we were concerned about dangers. We were on We had 2 bicycles for 3 of us. I had a bicycle that the chain kept coming off. And Kenneth rode on the handlebars with our older brother Ray. And we went north all the way to the Fort Lyon Canal and then headed west. That night we came upon a farmhouse and we lied to them. We told them we were Boy Scouts that had been lost from our group and we needed a place to sleep.
Fast thinkers.
They stayed 6 months.
Janice, I'm telling this story. So we did spend the night with them. They gave us some blankets and probably pillows, and we slept on the lawn. My brother Ray always said we slept in the barn, but I don't remember sleeping in the barn. We slept out on the lawn. It was summertime, and we got up the next morning and they made us breakfast, and I can remember the first time I'd ever had potatoes for breakfast. I've never forgotten that. Fried potatoes were with dinner in the South. And it's just like going to Georgia and trying to get some hash browns. All they got's grits. And so then we took off. I can remember picking up Coke, Pepsi bottles, pop bottles, because you got 2 cents for them. And we collected enough. We came to a little store and we cashed them in and bought a box of Ritz crackers. So that's all we had to eat the rest of that day. We went to North La Junta, where the city park is, and we rode around there was a fountain there and a pool around it, and we rode around in that bikes. It was a hot day. Then we decided we would head home. This adventure really wasn't working out to what it was supposed to be. Running away is not cut out to what it's supposed to be. But we headed back east on Highway 50, got almost to a drive-in theater that was there, and we saw this deputy sheriff on the railroad tracks with binoculars. They must have been tipped off we were in the area. And they were going to close in on this gang. So we went back to town and went to the sheriff's office and turned ourselves in. We didn't have a lot of choice. I think we were all pretty hungry. And they called my mom and dad to come get us. I couldn't believe it. They were so happy to see us. But that was, it only lasted about 28 hours, 29, 30 hours. But was a venture that, you can talk about till you're 80.
Yes.
So it was good to be home, where Mama's home cooked meals and you knew you're going to get fed every night.
Do you still eat Ritz crackers?
I really do. I like it.
So what happened with the tractor?
I'm sure my daddy probably had to pay something to
Have it fixed.
have the air put back in the tires and have it put back up. We didn't hear any more about that. Fortunately, my dad made all kinds of promises when they came to pick us up. They were just so glad to have us back. My dad had actually driven all the way to Pueblo. Thought maybe we went to my sister's, who lived in Boone, at that time. Just East Pueblo. And of course we weren't there. And the girl's uncle was out looking for us, and there were just a lot of local people.
You
Yeah.
didn't get in trouble for running away.
No, we really didn't. It was summer,
There
so we
is
didn't miss you to school, but it's just, you gotta stay a little bit longer, and then they're glad to get you back. Anything you want to add to that?
No, you did it.
You were
pretty
the
good.
you were the junior partner.
Yeah. The only thing I got to add is my two older brothers talked me into it probably.
Thank you to my three wonderful adults back there. They're not kids anymore. In fact, one of them's already retired. But they have definitely made me very proud. They, in their own right, have accomplished many, many wonderful things. I can remember flying back from Germany, bringing Gigi back to start college, and didn't get that opportunity with Esther or Jim now. But they've done really well in their own right, and it's good to know that I got somebody to take care of me one day if I need it.
No, we're moving into a smaller house. It doesn't have an elevator.
Just be sure you get a spare bedroom.
What about your lovely wife who threw this whole party for you?
I still can't believe it.
Don't forget her.
She's just amazing. One, that you could not only put it all together, that you kept it a total secret. I had no idea anything was going on, and I still didn't have any idea this was going on. When we got to church this morning, and here's my brother and sister-in-law, Kenneth and Donna, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. It still didn't dawn on me until I turned the corner right there and saw everybody there. Yes, young
Can I
lady.
say something? This is funny. When Diane called me to come to your surprise party, she says, Georgia, he doesn't need to know because I'm in the bathroom and I'm talking to you in the bathroom. And she was whispering.
I said a lot.
She talked to me in the bathroom too. But that was funny, thank you anyway.
It wasn't easy, and he wanted to know who I was talking to on the way here.
She called me the next day and she's still sitting in the bathroom.
I was trying to call Donna to tell her we were on our way to church because we were in Denver yesterday, and last night we spent the night at Jim and Karen's house and then got up early, and so we were rushing back here, and I was rushing around trying to get ready, and I tried to call Donna to let her know we were on our way, and my phone kept calling Colorado Springs Utilities. And I was getting so mad, I was calling him. And he said, who are you trying to call? I said, I couldn't tell you.